want to be a lesbian.
Hello. My name is Shle Berry. I'm a 33-year-old hip-hop artist from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm a biracial gay woman, and I'm officially 365 days sober. And I wanted to share my story with you guys. And I've tried my best to break it down into 4 parts. Like I said, I tried my best. I can be rather long-winded, but I tried to consolidate the context and the overall point. So, yeah, let's talk about it. I'm rather active in my apartment today. Obviously, when I want to record. Sipping on some green tea. Anyways, hi, I'm Shle, your friendly neighborhood lesbian. Welcome to my channel. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. Welcome. If you're a weirdo, if you're an artist, if you're an entrepreneur, you might like this channel. Maybe you're just someone on a personal growth journey and you're interested in what I have to say about sobriety, because I have a lot to say about it, and I'm going to try my best to limit my focus so that the video doesn't get too long. Like I said, I'm going to break the story up into 4 parts. I'm going to try my best to not get carried away. I want to talk about how I started drinking. I want to talk about where drinking led me. And then I want to talk about what I did about it, the accountability I took. And the last point I want to make is just like, why does any of this matter? Hopefully I can bring it home. We'll see. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm new to this. I'm overstimulated. There's just a lot going on. There's lights, there's a time code, there's audio, there's camera, there's notes. There's just a lot to think about when you're recording. And I've already fucked this up, so bear with me. Part 1. How I got started drinking. To be honest, it's kind of sad that we don't have a why we start drinking. It's just kind of assumed that we're going to eventually start drinking in this society. I was actually a late bloomer to alcohol. I was very passionate about basketball when I was growing up. And when kids started doing it in high school, I just didn't have any interest in it. I didn't have any sort of reason to drink. I didn't even really like going out, to parties. I thought those were I can't describe it in a way, it's not like I thought it was a negative thing. I just knew that it wasn't really for me. And then when I found out that people were drinking, I was just too naive and too immature to really be curious about it yet. I was still very into sports, and like I said, I was very dedicated to basketball at the time. I didn't have my first alcoholic experience until I was 19. I was a sophomore in fucking college. And I waited to do it with a group of friends that I felt safe with. And I think that's the other reason why I didn't want to do it with friends in high school, because I got picked on. And when I was in school and I was going through being gay in the 2000s, it wasn't as cool as it is now. And that was probably a reason why I avoided certain things, because I didn't want to get picked on or roasted, or why do you always wear boy clothes? And anyways, I didn't drink until I was 19 with a group of friends that I really trusted. It was UV Blue. Shout out. Even then, I didn't even I understood the reason once I did it. I was like, oh, it makes you feel kind of loopy. It makes you feel a little disconnected. I'm not really sure how to describe it, but like it made you feel a little less connected to the pain. And like you don't realize that that's what's happening at the time, but you feel a sense of relief. And you're like, wow, that numbness feels kind of good, but you don't realize it's numbness at the time. You're a kid, you're 19. Like, what the fuck do you know? When I was 19, that's like right around the time I started taking music seriously. And I was like in a group and I was writing a lot. And over time, that led to me getting booked locally at shows, which was super cool. Because I live in Wisconsin and because I live in Milwaukee, most venues that play music are typically bars. There's just not a lot of venues for kids that are under 21. There's just not in Milwaukee at least. When you're in the music scene, you naturally get caught up in what everyone else is doing. And that was never really like me. I wasn't the kid I wasn't really a follower. I was like okay with standing alone, even if that meant I was like getting roasted and shit. I was okay kind of standing my ground. And not even that I started drinking because I wanted to fit in. It just felt so normal. And when you're out and you're performing, you get a drink before you go on. Your friends come and they want to buy you a drink. And then you get off stage and people are like, wow, I really liked your set. And they want to buy you a drink. And all of a sudden I'm like 5 beers in and I don't even consider myself like a drinker. But it's just like boom, 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 boom. That was happening. The more shows I started having, the more I was drinking. Being a rapper then, on top of that, there's a lot of stereotype of drug abuse, alcohol abuse. So I was fighting that uphill battle too, because any hip hop artist that I collaborated with and we were meeting up to write or record or make a script or something, we probably had beer or we probably had alcohol or we were probably smoking weed, or like there was always this need to alter your sense of reality. And that was like becoming normal. I was never someone that I considered to have a problem. Like even in the music scene, I wasn't one of those people that were like overly obviously getting lit all the time. Like I carried myself really well and I wasn't like getting sloppy on stage. That wasn't really who I was. I was too afraid to fuck up to do stuff like that. But I definitely would have a beer or two to like loosen up before I went on stage to like calm my nerves, even though that was just creating a handicap, you know? So anyway, there's just like a toxic relationship within the music scene and alcohol already. We've lost a lot of great artists due to drug abuse and alcoholism. And the older I get, the more people I know that have lost someone to alcohol or a drunk driving accident, or there's a slew of things that happen within the alcohol community that like result in people getting hurt. Once you start really looking at it for what it is, the negatives really, 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 really outweigh the positives. Once music picked up, I was like really in the scene. I was going to a lot of shows. I was really working on my brand. I was releasing a lot of content. I was just like, go, go, go. And I didn't realize that I was using that as an excuse to avoid my feelings and my emotions. I didn't realize that at the time. And it wasn't until COVID hit that I realized I was using alcohol as an escape. Because when I didn't have anything to keep me busy, I was just drinking. And like I was drinking by myself. Like it wasn't even like I was doing it in a social way. I was just like getting lit alone. Or like I'd go write and I'd be like, oh, I have to have a beer when I write. But like, why? You know what I mean? And then one beer would turn into two, and now I'm like lit at 1 p.m. for no reason. For why? Because I live in Wisconsin. And because in the music industry, it's like accepted. It's almost like encouraged to like wake up, roll over, crack open a beer. People are like, oh, that's so rock star of you. It's like, I'm hurting and no one sees it. Oh, shit. I didn't realize what was happening because everything was happening so fast. 2019 was one of the busiest years of my life. It felt like I went on tour. I'd never performed so much in my life. I think I performed over 50 times that summer. It was fucking crazy. That's where it led me. Alcohol led me to, I shouldn't say it led me that way. It was kind of like a combination of the environment I was hanging out in. When I was an athlete, I didn't think about alcohol. Basketball was my first love. It was my first escape. It was the thing I did, the thing I was known for when I was a kid. I was known for basketball. I was known for that. So like I was just into that environment. I was just like into what other basketball players were doing. Oh, we drink Gatorade? Yeah, we drink Gatorade. Oh, we stretch at 6 a.m.? Yeah, we stretch at fucking 6 a.m. Like I was just like immersed in the culture. And then that's kind of what happened with music. Back to the toxic part. There's a lot of toxic things in the music industry that we can elaborate on at another time. But it just wasn't intentional. I was just like submerging myself into an environment, into a scene. And all of a sudden I caught wind of some self-awareness and it slapped the shit out of me. Slapped the shit out of me. So then, what are we on? That was part 1, part 2. That was the end of part 2. Now we're on part 3. I hope this is connecting. I hope this is landing. When COVID hit, obviously we had a lot of time on our hands. I started reading a lot more. I started doing some self-reflection because the stillness was like making me itch. The stillness was like making me crazy. And I'm like, what is this? What is this? Like, what is happening? Like the stillness was just like overwhelmingly loud. Like the silence was so loud. I was just like, I don't know how else to describe that, but it was driving me insane. I was like realizing it for the first time that I had been running my whole life from a lot of the things that I had dealt with, and I was just avoiding and distracting and trying to act like a tough guy, girl, person, whatever. I was just trying to like cover up my emotions, be overly masculine, because that's what I adopted in my childhood. We'll go down that path another day because I have a whole conversation about being overly masculine in the LGBT scene, being a stud, all that kind of shit. I'll take you down that path another day. But all of this was like bubbling to the surface when COVID hit. Like all of this like childhood stuff was coming up. I was like finally expressing to my partner. I was like, man, I've been kind of having some like dark feelings. And she was, at the time, she was really worried. She was just like, I've never heard you talk like this before. And I never talked like that before. But again, COVID was a traumatic time for all of us, but it did open my eyes to a lot of things. And it pushed me to start. I've always been a self-reflective person, introspective person. My rap has always been like that. My music has always been really introspective. It's been the one place that I can be. It's the one place that when I've been feeling lonely and that I don't have anywhere to go, when I don't have anyone to talk to, the pen and the paper has always been there for me. I've always been able to just like purge my emotions somewhere and just like feel heard. Whether it lands with people or not was never the point. It just like felt good to like get that shit out. So I've always been that way, but I realized I needed to dig a little bit deeper when COVID hit. So I started going to therapy in 2021. I, got back into like a not like an athletic routine, but working out was really comfortable for me. And I knew the gym was like a comfortable place for me. I like knew my way around a gym or a weight room thanks to basketball. So that was like easy to kind of throw myself into again. I was going for walks a lot. I was just trying to like move my body. I started eating good again. I've always had a decent diet, but again, a lot of these things I was just trying to like double down on my habits. I was realizing that I was hurting and struggling. So I was just trying to do something about it. I'm like, all right, I just need to get better habits. From like COVID, which was 2020, 2021, I started therapy. I moved to another state. I moved to Arizona with my partner at the time. And like for no deep reason, we didn't have kids. We didn't have a mortgage. And I had some family down there and it seemed fun. Seemed like a new thing to try. So I moved down to Arizona in 2021. Moved back in October of 2022. And even while I was down in Arizona, I was taking my routine very seriously. I started meditating down in Arizona. I was only doing it for 5 minutes a day. That's how slow I started because I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. But I was reading a lot and researching a lot, and it was all leading me to like, you need to start meditating and being okay with that stillness. And I didn't know that that's what I needed to do with the stillness. At the time, the stillness scared the shit out of me. But meditation helps you understand the stillness and that you need it and that it's necessary. I did a whole meditation challenge. You guys can check out my channel. I meditated for 30 days in a row. I'll eventually drop a video about that. But yeah, between 2020 and 2022, I was just trying to like get back on track of like taking care of myself and just like making decisions that were like good for me. And in November of 2022, usually people are like, oh, I'm doing No Shave November, or like they give up something. And in Arizona, I had flirted with the idea of giving up alcohol a few times. There were stretches that I didn't drink. Weed was legal in Arizona, so we were definitely partaking in that. But I could see the destruction that alcohol was having on my mental health, my physical health, my spiritual health. It just like wasn't helping me. It wasn't serving me. It was making me feel like shit. So weed helped me give it up. Weed was the thing that helped me transition into not drinking alcohol anymore. So when I got back from Arizona, I was like, oh, November's a cool time. Let me try to give up alcohol for 30 days. No big deal. I didn't think I had a problem. So it didn't seem like far-fetched. It didn't seem out of reach. It seemed like the next step. I was like, yeah, I'm feeling good. My diet's good. Whatever. Let's try this out. This is when I realized the effects of alcohol, like the gripping effects of alcohol is when I tried to give it up for 30 days. The fucked up thing is that I didn't think I had a problem. And I know that there's people just like me, because when I was doing all my milestones on my journey and I was like, oh, I'm 60 days sober, I'm 100 days sober, I'm blah, blah, blah sober, there were always people jumping in the comments to make it seem like, oh, good for you, but you have a problem. I can still drink because I don't have a problem. I used to think of myself as one of those people. Oh, I'm not the person that has a problem. I can drink, I can control it. Try giving it up for 30 days. It changed my mind. It completely changed my paradigm on so many things. In that 30-day challenge, I did drink one time. It was like at the end of November. I think there was something going on for like a German festival. I'm 39% German. I went with my family, and German culture is very surrounded by beer, and I did end up having a beer with my meal. So I had one beer in 30 days. So I already had kind of fucked it up, but it opened my eyes overall. I was like, wow, I actually realized this has a bigger pull on me than I thought. Once the challenge was over, I went back to just like normal stuff. I drank for the holiday. When 2023 started, like springtime, I was like, all right, I'm going to try to give it up again, but I'm going to give it up for 60 days. That was early 2023. I did that. Summer came and I went on a fucking bender for summer. I drank a lot in the summer of 2023. Just like getting lit up. Granted, I was like emotionally hurting. I was running. I was trying to numb. I was going through a lot of things at that time. Not to excuse it, but that's why I was drinking more than probably normal, because I was hurting. After that, I gave it up again for like 60 days, maybe 80 days. I can't remember exactly, but I gave it up again because I had a really bad night drinking. I was like, God damn it, I need to give this up again. This is bad. End of 2023, January 1st of 2024 hits. And I'm looking myself in the mirror and I'm just like, babe, you are capable of hard things. You are capable of hard things. And you are capable of giving this up. This is a poison. This hasn't helped you. This has held you back. You can do this. And I did. And I gave it up for the entire year of 2024. Didn't drink at all. It's officially January, the end of January. So I'm a year and a month sober now, officially. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. It was hard already because of the pull of addiction. It was really hard living in Milwaukee, where it's not only already accepted, but it's kind of pushed on you excessively. There's more bars per capita in Milwaukee, I think, than anywhere in the United States. We're one of the drunkest states in the nation. I know we held the title at one point. I don't know if we still currently do, but we're a very drunk state. So that alone was hard because I had all those friends. You all know, anyone who's tried to give up alcohol, you all know what that fucking question, or like when you go out and they're like, oh, you're giving up drinking, like they judge you for giving it up. If I could compare alcohol to gasoline, if I told everyone that I was giving up drinking gasoline, everyone would be happy for me. But because we've been brainwashed into drinking gasoline, me giving up a poison offends people because they have to confront that with themselves. And they usually end up projecting that onto me. That was hard. I didn't know how to deal with that at first. I still kind of don't. So I just kind of avoid places that alcohol is at, which has been a lonely thing because I live in Milwaukee. Anywhere that's going out or having fun has alcohol at it. So it was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it was also one of the most rewarding, game-changing things I've ever done for myself. If you're someone that has consistently drank on the weekends, but you're someone that thinks that you don't have a problem, just try giving it up for 30 days. Maybe you don't have a problem. Maybe giving it up for 30 days ain't shit. And you're just like, yeah, see, Shle, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'll be like, bet, this channel isn't for you. But this channel is for the people that all of a sudden find that that's actually pretty hard. And that self-reflection is hard because then once you know that there's an issue, then you have to take accountability. And I don't think we talk enough about the failing part, because when I tell people that I made it, that I made it a year sober, There's people that usually comment that are like, oh, I could never do that. I have barely made it 30 days kind of stuff. And all I say to them is, I just kept trying. Like, I fucked up. I fucked up my first 30 days. But that wasn't my excuse to quit. It just was another reason to try again. And that's the hardest part, is feeling like you have to be perfect when you give it up. You're probably going to fuck it up trying to give it up. It's an addiction. And we're not good with self-compassion, especially with stuff like this, but you just got to keep trying. I tried for a whole year. I fucked up for a whole year, you guys, before I was able to finally commit to a year. So to say that you're not capable is bullshit. You're capable of hard things. We all are capable of hard things. And it started to dawn on me that alcohol it numbs you from reality. Part 4, last part. I almost got long-winded in part 3. Oof, I did get kind of long-winded. No, I got this. If you're still with me, I appreciate you. But part 4, why does any of this matter? I'm not leading you. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Okay? I realize that I can only control my own actions. And I can only do my best at being the best that I can be. And however people want to take that, they can take that. I know this is like hard to hear because we're so brainwashed into thinking that alcohol does certain things for us. But alcohol isn't good for you. Period. For the people that want to still support drinking alcohol, that's fine, and that's a preference. But I don't want people to confuse preference with things being good for you or not. Because at the end of the day, the evidence is, the research is, all the data shows that alcohol isn't good for you. It's not good for anything. It's not good for your brain. It's not good for your gut. It's not good for your hydration. It's not good for longevity. It's not good for working out. It's not good for nutrition. Like, it's not good for you. And if the only thing you can tell me is that it helps you have fun, it's sad that you think you need that to have fun when it suppresses your emotions. So imagine how much more you would feel those moments if you weren't drinking. When you think of those moments, you're like, oh, that night wouldn't have been as fun if I wasn't drunk. But drunk you isn't real you. It's like, what are we saying? Drinking makes it really hard to uphold other habits, because try going to the gym hungover, or try going to the gym after you drink one night. Even if you're not hungover, just try going to the gym after you drink kind of heavy for a night and go to the gym the next morning. It's hell. Your body is screaming at you. But you're going to look at me and be like, yeah, but it's so fun, Shle. It's so fun to destroy my body. Woo! Stop. I'm not telling you what to do. You can do whatever you want. I know that people are still going to drink. You can still drink. Because that's a choice that you can make for yourself. You can have the consequences of your own decisions. But we can all agree that drinking, that alcohol, isn't good for us. It's destroyed families. It's destroyed relationships. It's destroyed people, actually. It's gotten people into accidents. It's caused more violence, more domestic violence. Seriously, tell me what the benefits of alcohol are, other than you just disconnecting from reality. And listen, I struggle with mental health too, and I understand the pull. I understand why you want to feel numb. But we don't have to protect this poison that's like harmful to society. You guys, the other thing that alcohol prevents us from is confronting our inner demons. And that's what alcohol was doing for me. And that's what my busy schedule was also doing for me, is that I never had to confront the things I was running from. And when you're drinking all the time and you're disconnecting from who you are all the time, and then you're using your hangover as a reason to like avoid stuff. I mean, it takes what's the statistic? Doesn't it take like 3 full days for alcohol to even get out of your system? That's kind of crazy. That it just lingers there. That poison, that toxin just like lingers there in your body. For anyone that's fighting depression or anxiety, or you feel like you use booze to feel less anxiety, because I used to do it for shows. I'd be like, oh, before I go on and I'm feeling nervous, I'll just drink a little bit, and that'll like loosen me up, and I won't feel as scared when I go up on stage. And although that feeling is really confusing with the relief that we're looking for, it's just creating a crutch. Because then I'm never actually going up on stage and experiencing that the way that I should. Just like really being there. And that's my favorite part of performing. It is the most moment enhancing thing that I can describe. It makes me feel like I'm blacking out. That's how playing basketball used to feel. Like it just immerses me in the moment so deeply. And I'm realizing that that's where a lot of peace is. It's just like being in the moment, not being in yesterday, not being in tomorrow. And again, alcohol was just like preventing me from feeling things deeper. Giving it up was one of the most life-changing things that I've done. Because one, it showed me that I could do something that was challenging. And it was. But I know that if I can do it, anyone that's watching this can do it. If you're struggling with something else, it doesn't even have to be alcohol. It can be anything that you feel addicted to. And I hope I'm not coming off self-righteous because I'm not perfect. I'm still addicted to some other things. But I'm trying to gradually lean off dependency. I'm trying to lean off substances that take me away from reality. I'm trying to find ways to connect more. And alcohol was preventing me from connecting on a deeper level with myself. And that was affecting all of my relationships and how I was connecting with the world and how I see it. And I guess overall, giving up alcohol has just made me a better person. It's made me more accountable. It's allowed me to have better discipline. It's allowed me to work on myself so that I can show up better in my relationships. And I can be more present when I go out into the world, and I'm not so reactive, that I can have more, not only self-compassion for myself, but compassion for others. I know this is I'm not trying to be overly dramatic. I've just seen the beauty in finding myself and connecting to myself. And although it was terrifying, and I had to confront pieces of myself that I didn't like, and I had to confront pieces of myself that I was afraid of. And it's terrifying to do those things. And I'm not at the end of that journey yet. I'm still on it. But yeah, giving up alcohol has really helped me in my journey towards a better me. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you tune in next time. Again, I'm Shle. I'm 365 days sober, ho. The fuck is up?